Why is it every time, all the people talk about this man, but every time he does something, the people rejoice. And so you're making decisions based on emotions of what you think. You're not making decisions based on how God uses men. When you see how God is using this man, he fits so easily into scripture when God gets ready to judge evil. And the men that he always uses to judge evil are always crazy.
What do you think about President Trump's remarks on Cuba today?
Increíble. Creo que Cuba no tiene esperanza, cuando ya lo habíamos perdido por 67 años. Venga de un presidente como él, o de que alguien te dé una esperanza de que tú seas libre, de que tú puedas expresarte sin miedo, es una luz entre tanta oscuridad que tenemos en el corazón, en nuestros pensamientos, que nos fueron presos por muchos años. Y muchos de nosotros, como primera generación, aquellos que se escaparon o los obligaron a escaparse, que nunca vieron la posibilidad de ver Cuba libre, yo me imagino hoy día oír esa noticia de él sería vivir un sueño que alguien te está dando y que espero se realice.
I feel elated. Fidel Castro killed my grandfather's father, my grandfather's brother, tried to kill my grandfather. That type of life, imprisoning people, it's not a way to live. Thank God to Trump and Trump's policies.
What's going on, everybody? I appreciate you guys pulling up today as things continue to progress over in the country of Cuba. Cubans, Americans who did support Trump. I think you guys know that Marco Rubio is also a Cuban American. They are in 100% lockstep support with what's going on within the administration as far as how they're handling Cuba. I think everybody knew that once they took out Venezuela, once the situation in Iran kicked off, you knew it was a matter of time before the Cuban regime fell. You knew it. Now, the people over there right now, they're suffering in a nationwide blackout due to the fact that they do not have access to oil. And for all the liberals out there that are losing their minds, let this be a warning, or let this be a reminder of how important oil is to a nation's energy and their ability to have power. All of these people for the previous 4 years during the previous administration, they pushed this green new scam on people and they wanted to remove ourselves off of, oil and things of that nature. And here it is, a nation, they've been without oil maybe, for maybe a month or so, and it's a full-fledged blackout. And now you have liberals losing their minds over this. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. We got to get into this.
When you say Cuba is next.
Cuba.
Is Cuba, whatever you do with the military there, it seems like something. Will that look more like Iran or Venezuela?
Can't tell you that. I can tell you that they're talking to us. It's a failed nation. They have no money, they have no oil, they have no nothing. They have nice land. They have nice landscape, It's a beautiful island. I think they have great people. I know so many people from Cuba that were treated terribly and they're over here and they became rich. They're very entrepreneurial people, very smart. I know a lot from Florida especially. There's so many people. A friend of mine started over with nothing. He's now the largest owner of gas stations in the country and stuff. Cuban. I also know, I was just with a fantastic person who's Cuban and made a fortune in sugar, Fanjul family, right? And this family wants to go back to Cuba to visit it. They haven't been back in like 50 years or something. They largely come from Cuba. And we'll see what happens. They were asking me about that. They want to go back. Not only Fanjul, a lot of Cubans have said, oh boy, would they love to go back. I think Cuba, in its own way, for tourism and everything else, it's a beautiful island, great weather. They're not in a hurricane zone, which is nice for a change, They won't be asking us for money for hurricanes every week. But I think Cuba's the end. All my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be the honor of having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation right now. They were for a long time. Very violent leaders. Castro was a very violent leader. His brother's a very violent leader. Extremely violent. That's how they governed. They governed with violence. But a lot of people would like to go back.
Hey, you can hear the bombs going off in people's heads when he said, take Cuba. Yeah, it could go in a multitude of directions. I mean, what I've heard about Cuba, I've never been there before, but what I've heard about it, you know, it's a beautiful country. Obviously, I've met a multitude of Cubans. They're good people. You know, obviously there's good land. There's a lot of resources and things of that nature there. But the nation itself, this is another nation. This is another failed communist, socialist nation ran by an evil dictator. This is another one. How many of these do people need to see before they realize that, hey, this style of governing doesn't work? It doesn't work. Now, it's unfortunate that the people are going through a blackout, but in order for real progress to happen, things have to get so bad that somebody can go in there and say, you know what, we're going to do something different. I'm not a fan of Cuba becoming a state. I don't want to see that, but would I mind them becoming a territory very similar to, you know, the U.S. Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico or Guam? I wouldn't have an issue with that, with them becoming a territory. It's prime location for resorts and golf courses, you know, and other businesses that could be built up, you know, out there in that country. It's prime real estate. It's just been ran extremely poorly, and the people have been mistreated and dogged out for well over 60 years. I'd like to see something different. But liberals, they can't stand progress.
There is a humanitarian crisis happening in Cuba as we speak. There's no fuel. There's no electricity. There's no trash pickup. Trash is piling up on the streets, meaning disease could start to spread at any moment. The hospitals are not running at their capacity. They don't have staff that is showing up due to the working conditions, and some just can't get there because there's no fuel. There's a blockade happening by our government. And the Cubans for Trump, I have to ask, are y'all cool?
They're definitely cool. And there's been a humanitarian issue over in the country of Cuba for quite some time. Why do you think people were risking limb and life just to get over here? You had people trying to swim across there, trying to get from Cuba to the United States. You've had people jump on rafts. You've had people jump on makeshift boats. You had one guy that was so emboldened that he just stole an airplane over in Cuba, flew it under the radar over here to the United States of America, called air traffic control and said, hey, I'm over here coming from Cuba. And he had already landed, and he let them know, like, hey, I'm here. And they were like, no, you can't land here. He was like, I already landed. You know what I'm saying? And then he went back a few years later to go and get his children, putting his life on the line. So they've been in a humanitarian crisis over there. What is this person talking about? Seriously, I want you to hear from this grandma who is 88 years old, who is ecstatic about what's happening over there.
Mom, can you explain to everyone in English and in Spanish why Americans, specifically liberal Americans, people that are liberal, son liberal, or whatever, however you call it, liberales, and not really the Democrats, but mostly liberal Americans, why they're so opposed to the U.S. going to Venezuela and taking out Maduro when all of Venezuela is happy, and why they're saying Cuba. Mind you, my grandma's Cuban, 100% Cuban. My grandparents are from Cuba. So then they're saying, Cuba, watch out, they're coming for you next. The U.S. needs to mind their own business, calling Trump a communist. How do you feel about all this? Venezuela and then Cuba.
diciéndole que Cuba está en problemas y queremos que Trump saque eso de ahí. El problema de Cuba con el comunismo. 90 miles from the United States.
So in English, say it in English.
No, 90 miles from the United States.
No, but it basically, you're saying that Cubans, right? You guys want this. You want this. You want Trump to go to Cuba and get rid of the communists.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to go back or no because of what's going on in your country?
With this time, but at this age, what I'm going to do over there
Yeah.
now, you know what I mean? I'm living in this country for 70 years already.
And what happened when you left? How bad was it when you left?
It was bad, not as bad as later, you know what I mean? But I did in Cuba 3 years or before to be a teacher. I did 3 years or before. Then before came the communists and then they closed all their schools and
They closed all the schools, and what else did they take from you guys?
yeah. Oh,
People that had big houses and farms, what happened?
my mother had a house from one street to the other one. They took it.
They just took it?
Yeah.
Gave you nothing? And where did she live after that? Homeless? Had to live in a...
She came here.
Right away?
Yeah.
The crazy thing is that the dad going left, man. There's something else because they're like, oh, they just want to go and build bases over there. Well, when they go and build a base over in Cuba, think about how many jobs it's going to bring for the Cuban people. And think about all the businesses that are going to flourish because they're going to bring service members over there. Come on, man. You go from a situation to where the government is literally taking your land. You can't own anything to a couple bases being built. I would assume that there'll be a Navy base. There probably will be a Army base, maybe even a Marine Corps base over there. And then there's going to be tons of construction because you need housing. And then there's tons of business because you got to support those folks. I mean, this is a huge opportunity, not to mention the resorts that are going to get built. Come on, man. It's going to bring so many jobs. And for the life of me, these liberals, they're the worst, man. They really are. They are the worst.
Can you imagine what's happening in Miami right now? Those Miami Cubans are losing their everlasting mind because they're like, yay, Donald Trump said he's going to take us. And they thought it was a good idea. They were like, that's a great idea. He can take us because we're going to trade one dictatorship for another. He doesn't see what's happening right now. Donald Trump doesn't want you in this country. He wants you to go back to your island. And I don't know what to tell you. You're looking for status like Puerto Rico. Right now, they're working behind the scenes to make Puerto Rico an independent country. You don't seem to understand that. The problem is logistics for them because they make so much money, billions of dollars because of the Jones Act. Meanwhile, while all of this is happening and people are starving, they don't have enough oil to keep the lights on, and they're not able to provide.
I thought liberals were against oil. That's the crazy thing. I thought y'all were against oil. I thought you were against natural gas. Come on, man.
Provide for their family and forget about housing because it's no bueno. But you guys are jumping up for joy. You know what he's going to do? A big old golf course right there in Cuba. And there's going to be some serious colonization going on.
They're going to bring a ton of jobs, and anything that is built over there is better than what they have going on right now. It's better than what they have going on right now. Man, I tell you, man, and for people to say that we live in a dictatorship but can get online and just talk super reckless about the administration, you can't do this in Cuba. You can't do this in China. You couldn't do this in Venezuela. Man, these people are ridiculous, man.
He was a dictator, and I think Trump did the right thing. He's just taking out dictators.
Yeah, 2 for 2, aren't we?
Yes, 100%. I'm waiting on Cuba next. I'm Cuban, so I'm hopeful.
Hopeful. Okay, tell us a little bit about why, so you're Cuban, yes. Why would you support, I guess, Trump taking military action in Cuba?
Because they've been a dictatorship for years and years now. Basically, my entire family fled Cuba to the United States because of safety, financial, everything. Like, my mom and my grandma moved here to give me everything that I have now, and Cuba's a beautiful country. It's beautiful, but it's destroyed right now. There's no food, no nothing. It's deserted. It's horrible.
Hey, the people that are from Cuba, they understand communism. They lived it. They experienced it. They understand what it means. So when they hear these things, it's all so to them to say, oh, heck no. And that's why so many of them supported Trump. And that's why so many of them are conservatives. That's why so many of them believe in a capitalistic society, because they understand what the opposite looks like. The problem is you have people on the left, especially those quote unquote college educated people who have been, sold a bad bill of goods, and they've been sold this, communist Marxist fairy tale that never works anywhere. It's awful, man. It is awful.
Please keep your mouth shut about what is currently going on in Cuba. The narrative that you guys are creating about the U.S. embargo being the reason Cubans are suffering is absolutely disrespectful.
She's saying, and I respect that, okay, unless you live in Cuba. Yeah, I don't. So
they don't respect it. And these are some of the worst people in the country. White liberals, black liberals, especially white and black liberal women, they are the worst. They are the worst, man, because you will hear somebody from Cuba or from Venezuela or from one of these other countries telling you how bad it is. And they're going to say, oh, no, it's not as bad as you've lived.
No, I wouldn't know. But what I do know is that you voted for Trump. And guess who they're blaming right now for what's happening in Cuba? Now, no, it is not quick little research tells me.
She ain't doing no research.
No, it's not just the U.S. that is causing this. They have had a corrupt government, and, they've always kind of dealt with that in Cuba.
So the hope is that they just continue to deal with it, though. Shut up, lady. Let's keep it moving.
A choice to make. They can either have a real country with a real economy where their people can prosper, or they can continue with their failing dictatorship that's going to lead to systemic and societal collapse. So it's a very stark and dramatic choice, and it's one we hope to make the right one. We don't have an interest in a destabilized Cuba, but that would be their fault, because they refuse to allow the people of Cuba to have either economic or political freedom, for that matter. And
Secretary Rubio, do you support, and I know this is up to Congress, but do you support easing the trade embargo if you get more cooperation from them?
Well, I'm not going to discuss what we would talk about or not. Suffice it to say that the embargo is tied to political change on the island. The embargo is codified. And but the bottom line is their economy doesn't work. It's a non-functional economy. It's an economy that has survived. That revolution, it's not even a revolution, that thing they have has survived on subsidies from the Soviet Union and now from Venezuela. They don't get subsidies anymore, so they're in a lot of trouble. And the people in charge, they don't know how to fix it. So they have to get new people in charge. That's what has to happen.
And the relationship we have with Venezuela has been...
I want to say this, man. Shout out to Big Marco, man. He has showcased himself as a real contender for president in 28. I know a lot of you guys have already said, hey, your preference would be Marco Rubio for 28. I know some people had said J.D. Vance, but on the international scale, when it comes to foreign affairs, Marco Rubio has stood the test every time. He has come across, as knowledgeable. He's come across as strong. He's come across as presidential. Let's just keep it a buck. And what he just said, he knows this, Cuba, it has been in a bad situation for a long time, and they've been receiving subsidies from other nations. Russia basically put their hands up and said, hey, man, y'all got it. Cuba, you're on your own. Venezuela is no more. That situation, it's a done data. So they don't have a choice but to come to the table now. They don't have a choice. Or this is a situation, where it's like, hey, basically, you either gonna have to get down or lay down, one of the two. Either way, it's coming. You have people over in Cuba, they are frustrated. And you have Cuban Americans here in the country that can see a light at the end of the tunnel that a lot of them thought that they would never see. And as Pastor Turnbull said when we started this thing, the media, the people on the left, the liberals, they all can't stand Trump, but the people all around the world, when he takes action, they rejoice. I'm trusting the people. The heck with these daggone liberals and those on the left. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. Join us Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes. bruise, oh pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.